Hey, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Brothas-in-law. And on this show, we discuss police involved incidents that occur around the country, and we give our analysis on the actions of those police officers to see if their actions are what a reasonable officer would do. We also take a look at the actions of the citizens to see if they have followed our acronym CALM, which stands for comply, answer questions, listen, and move on, whether a situation had turned out differently. Now, you may agree or disagree with us, but by the end of the video, it is our hope that you get a better understanding of how these incidents unfold. So, if you're new to our channel, I was a Virginia State police officer for 7 years, and I'm a retired Navy Chief Petty Officer. And welcome, Mike.
All right, hey, nice to meet you, everybody on here. I see you, Stacy. I see you on here. Give a little bit of time for the people to chime in. I'm retired street cop, 26 years in Northern California. Also a 6-year Army veteran. So on this show, we talk about police incidents and we give you our critique and analysis of whether or not we agree with what happened or not. You know what I'm saying? Like Corey was saying, either you agree with us if you or if you don't. But if anything, we hope you get something out of it. You know, we got a good one lined up for you today. It is a very interesting one because I know both Corey and I have come across people like this throughout our careers where they, want to start spitting out laws and rights and you can't do this and you can't do that. And it ends up getting them in trouble in the long run. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? And what do
right.
we always say, Corey? Fight your battles in
Fight it in
court.
court.
I don't
Fight it
jail.
in court.
You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Don't argue with no cops on the street because it ain't gonna do you no good. Hey, Delando. Hey, Jesus love you. Thanks for joining us. I see you guys on here.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on? Oh, so before we get into the show, like always, go ahead, like, share, and subscribe this out. If you haven't been over to our merch shop, get on over to the merch shop at brothersinlaw.myspreadshop.com. Get yourself a nice little brothers-in-law shirt, t-shirt, a hoodie like Mike has on, and help support our channel. And everything that we get from this sale goes to help expand our platform, to get our messages staying calm out there. Hey, Tone, what's up, baby? Get our messages out
Hey,
there,
Tone,
staying
I
calm,
see you.
and how to interact with law enforcement. So the title of tonight's show is called "An Incredible Confrontation." Driver asserts his constitutional right, insisting that the police involved call the FBI. Now, this right here, y'all, is I don't know how many of you are familiar with what a sovereign citizen is, but I'll just read a little definition of what they are. And this is just a broad one that I just came across. And it states that a sovereign citizens movement is a loose grouping of primarily American litigants, commentators, and tax protesters and financial scheme promoters who claim to be answerable only to their particular interpretations of the common law and to not be subject to any government statutes or proceedings. In the United States, they do not recognize U.S. currency and maintain that they are free of any legal constraints. So basically, they're just a bunch of people that have this. I don't want to call it conspiracy theories, but they just think that the United States is technically a corporation and not a country like it was intended to be before. I think it was not. I know I'm gonna get slammed on this by social media, but I think it was like prior to uh was it 1930 something. Anyway, but they think that they don't, they're not governed under this constitution, but under the old previous constitution before America became incorporated. So this guy has this type of mindset. And like Mike said a little while ago, he and I have come across these type of citizens before, and a lot of times when you when you stop them, they have a piece of paper with a UCC code on it, which just stands for Uniform Commercial Code, uh, and it'd be like USS code 1-320, whatever it is, and they'll have it plastered up, held up against the window, and you come up and you see that, and they're just, all right, here we go. And you just know from that point on, it's going to be hell trying to deal with these individuals. So this guy here, he gets stopped, and they don't like following the rules of the road. In fact, they don't classify a vehicle, a vehicle. They classify it as they're traveling or conveying. They don't use the term vehicle. So this guy has a busted tail light. I think it's busted third tail light, right?
Yeah, third brake light. That was
third brake light. Yeah,
he got pulled over. Now he doesn't.
And gets pulled.
Yeah, he gets pulled over. He doesn't specifically say that he's a sovereign citizen.
No,
the way he's talking and the words that he's using are similar to what a sovereign citizen would use. I mean, right. Corey, in this video, you and the viewers, you can decide for yourself once we show you the video. But this guy kind of looks like, I don't know if he got if he's just naturally controversial or standoffish with police. I don't know if he got something going on, but we'll get into it. It just, to me, it seems bizarre in a sense how this guy is responding to being pulled over by police. Even more bizarre than a sovereign citizen. Like a sovereign citizen will at least tell you right up front, like you said, Corey, they'll show you this piece of paper. I don't follow the laws of the road or whatever, the things that they say. And this guy is just a little weird. So let's see.
A little weird. He would be one that I would say would be like borderline sovereign. He does enough to kind of just get himself out of trouble, thinking he can use this avenue, and thinking that he knows just enough to getting himself out of it. But as you'll see in the video, I think he's had some dealings with the law enforcement before. So we'll get into it. So this actually occurred back in September last year, 22nd last year. Again, like I said, he was pulled over for a third brake light out, and then just goes south from there. So once again, put your police officer hat on, if you will, and put yourself in the position of these officers, and drop your comments in there on what you would have done if you were responding to this call. You initiated this traffic stop. What are some things that would raise your situational awareness, if you will, to make you think like, okay, this is going south.
Right.
So keep those things in mind. Drop it. Go ahead. Say again, Mike.
Yeah, you're right. Like, this ain't gonna go smoothly. There's red flags right at the gate that shows you, okay, this could be a very confrontational person. I don't know what I'm going to end up having to do. You know what I'm saying? It's right out the gate. So,
yeah. All right, yeah, here we go. And it's only about 9 minutes. And if a commercial pops on again, I apologize. I can't stop them.
17th, 2022, an officer with Edmond Police Department was on patrol when he saw a silver vehicle turning with a broken brake light. After seeing the officer behind him, the driver of the silver vehicle turned into a nearby parking lot. Quickly, the officer activated his emergency lights to conduct a traffic stop of the silver vehicle.
How you doing?
Pretty good.
Or I'm pulling you over, your third brake light's out.
My third brake light?
Yeah, the one yeah.
No, it works pretty good.
No, it doesn't.
Huh.
See your ID, please?
I don't have one.
Okay. You don't have one at all?
I haven't violated anything per the First Amendment, so I'll need to show you ID. You actually stopped there, then when I pulled in here, then you pulled me over. So I've been reporting this all the time.
Can you start me another?
Yeah, go ahead and start another unit.
Okay, your third brake light is out. And perfect enough, my supervisor's pulling up.
All right, that's cool.
Cool.
Thank you.
So you have no ID on you. Are you refusing to identify yourself?
See there?
Oh, that was quick.
I knew one will pop up for
How does she do it?
I don't talk to the police, sir.
Okay. Well, easy enough. Go ahead and put your car in park for me. It's in park? Okay, cool. Huh?
Measure that.
It's good. All right. Go ahead and step out of the car for me.
No.
Okay. So this is how this is going to go, okay? I have a legal right to remove you from the vehicle.
How?
It's case law from the Supreme Court.
No, it's not. So
It 100% is. You are being pulled over for. You've been pulled over for a traffic violation. Can you please let me finish?
Dude, I've been recording this
Okay.
whole time.
You have a third break. Hit your brakes. Hit your brakes. So are you refusing to exit the vehicle?
Yeah.
Okay. If you don't exit the vehicle, I'm going to place you under arrest, okay?
For what?
For resisting, because you're not following my
arrest?
Yeah. Because
What am
I'm
I
giving you a
resisting arrest
legal
from?
I'm giving you a legal
What am
Pause
I
it right
resisting arrest from?
I'm giving you a legal
Yeah, he probably resisting arrest is probably not the correct wording that officer should use because he's not yet under arrest. So resisting arrest is not the proper term. It's more along the lines of obstructing justice, obstructing an officer from doing what they're supposed to do. Out here in California, there is a law, and it might be a different across the country, but there's a law. If you obstruct an officer in the performance of their duties, whether you're delaying or hindering or what in any way, trying to stop or slow down that officer's performance in his or her duties, that's against the law. You could be arrested for that. That's what this guy is doing right here. But viewers, you've seen the video up to this point. Okay. Now, the first thing you see that this is not going to go the way it's supposed to go as an officer is, the guy is argumentative right out the gate. I don't have to show you my ID. Okay, what are you thinking as an officer up to this point? He's not showing you ID. Okay. Your third brake light's out, sir. What does he say? No, it's not. It's working fine.
Right.
No, it's out. That's why I'm stopping you. And that's what I'm telling you. So how do you know your brake light is working fine? You're sitting in the car hitting the brakes unless you checked it in the last second. But
Right.
it was out. Okay, that's why you got stopped. And so he's already doing things that's giving big red flags to the officer that, okay, he's not going to go with the program. Now, does he think this officer is just going to say, all right, sir, you're right. I'm just going to let you go. I'm not going to deal with you today. See you later. You see what I'm saying? That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen.
That's what he's hoping.
Like Corey was saying, you guys put your cop's hat on. Think about what you would do up in this situation, what you would be thinking up to this situation.
Well, for me, what I'm thinking already, as soon as he says he didn't have his driver license on, my next response is, are you suspended? Are you revoked? What is it? Why don't you have your identification on you? And then I'm asking name, date of birth. He doesn't want to do that. You go through and hit your wickets of the who, what, where, when, how, why. And then at that point, if I already established why I pulled you over, I don't need to go into all that all over again. At this point, I'm asking you, are you refusing to identify yourself to me? He says yes. As soon as he says yes, all right, I'm going to be placing you on arrest for obstruction or failure to identify yourself, because I have to have a crime. A crime has been committed. You had it by broken brake light. That is an equipment violation. It's not a criminal offense, but there is a fraction that has been committed, and so now you're prohibiting me from doing my duties, which at this point is to issue you a equipment violation summons or tickets, or however they classify wherever you're from. Here in Virginia, it's a summons, Virginia Uniform Summons. So you're stopping me from doing that. So now my only alternative, because I'm not going to sit here and try to argue and fight with you in this parking lot and get all worked up over something that's unnecessary. At this point, I'm asking you to get out of the vehicle. We'll see up to this point whether or not he gets out of the vehicle. But up to this point, I think I'm almost to the point now, Mike. There's nothing else for me to talk about.
Yeah, and the officer, once you realize you ain't gonna identify yourself to me, okay. Well, now I'm gonna ask you to step out of the car, and I'm gonna ask you first, and then I'm gonna order you to step out of the car. Okay, but as you can see, this guy says no, I ain't get out of the car. Okay, so now you know, as an officer, in my head, this is probably going to get physical at some point, because I know I'm not going to just walk away and let this guy go. I know I have to identify him. I'm either going to give him a ticket or whatever I'm going to do, but I got to identify you with a formal driver's license before I could do anything else. And if you're not providing me with that, you're going to get out of the car, right?
Yeah.
So it's starting to go south already.
Yeah, I mean, we're only maybe a minute or so into this, and it's already now. This is where they tell you in the academies, like when that hair on the back of your neck starts standing up, that's when you really know it's pretty much going to go south, especially like this, because not only all right, now you don't have identification, right? So are you suspended? Are you just left your wallet at home, which can happen, but why do you not want to identify yourself to me? Do you have active warrants? Have you just committed a crime? So all these thoughts are going through your mind right now as an officer. You need to start processing this stuff, because there's a reason why he's not doing it, and you have to start trying to figure out what's going on here. And like Stacy says, it's just I'm going to have to get more firm with him. She would get more firm with him, but wouldn't give him too many more chances to get out of the vehicle. Yeah, that we always say, Mike, though, time is on our side, right?
Yeah, until it ain't. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna, like you said, I'm not gonna stand. We on a traffic stop. I'm not going, especially if I know I'm getting ready to arrest you. I'm not going to stand here outside your car window while you decide that you want to argue a point with me about whether or not I have a right to do what I'm doing. We ain't doing that. And Tone makes a good point. That's right. If I'm calling for a supervisor, Tone, I am going to wait until my supervisor gets there, because my supervisor is not only the supervisor that this guy may have requested, but he's also my cover unit. You know what I'm saying? That supervisor is going to let me run that traffic stop as I see fit, because he's also a cover unit. So I already know I'm probably going to go hands-on with this driver just to get him out the car. So naturally, I'm not going to do any of that physical stuff until I have help right there next to me.
Well, and see, in my case, sometimes you don't have that luxury.
Yeah,
because we roll solo, and your shift partners maybe 25, 30 minutes away from you. And so a lot of times you're just going to have to take matters into your own hands and get them out there. But if you can, we'll typically try to wait as long as we can to have that, especially like you say, if you're going to go hands on to get them out the vehicle. But sometimes it doesn't happen that way. We can't call supervise you out there, but I'm telling you, you're still going to come out that car, whether or not the supervisor comes out here or not. My mom said that she would just give him a ticket and send him to court. Well, you still need his information.
Yeah, can't give him a ticket without him giving you a license.
Right. So, yeah, so at this point, that's why you have to arrest him and take him downtown, and then you can fingerprint him, and then hopefully, if he has a history in the system, his identification will pop up. So you have to still take him to jail to get the information, because on scene he's not going to do that. So at this point, you really wouldn't have much choice but to take him to lock up.
And remember, folks, as a driver, when you are driving a vehicle on the highway, you get pulled over, you're required to, at minimum, provide your driver's license from driving on the highway. You're required to have your license in possession, and you're required to produce that license when a police officer asks you to do so. You're required to do. That's a law. If you don't, you're breaking a law if you don't. Okay. So it's not as simple as just give him a ticket and let him go, because you got to have certain things and certain requirements just to drive your vehicle on a road.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, he's already starting off on the wrong foot. All right, we're gonna keep it moving, y'all.
Legal order.
Property. What am I resisting arrest from?
Okay. I'm giving you a legal order to exit this vehicle.
And then you pull me over.
I'm giving you a legal order to exit this vehicle. I'm giving you a legal order to
parking lot.
It doesn't matter. You committed a traffic violation on the road.
Any traffic violation.
You have a third brake light out. That is a traffic violation, an equipment violation. You can step out of the vehicle right now, or you will go.
Right now at Aspen Dental, get new dentures with 60 months
I
financing.
apologize, y'all.
Book today.
I wish he could get over this. Oh, they gave me two.
Two of them.
All right, here we go.
Are we getting another unit over here?
That's my First Amendment right.
Okay.
So
you obviously don't understand how the First Amendment.
I stopped in the parking lot. Then you turned on your lights. How are you doing, sir?
Good.
So you just turned on your lights.
All right, so he's spewing off his constitutional rights, but
First Amendment ain't got to do with what's going
First
on.
Amendment doesn't have to. Now, if he was going to utilize that First Amendment, right, he should have just kept his mouth shut and not said anything.
First Amendment, folks, has something to do with like free speech or stuff like that.
Right, that's your freedom of speech and your freedom of religion and freedom of press.
Right.
Has nothing to do with this stop right here. So he's at this point, this is where he's really just trying to be confrontational and not be compliant, because he knows there's other things wrong with him, which we'll find out here in a second.
And see, at this point, these, like we say, Corey, we always tell our viewers, this is stuff that's completely avoidable to get into any confrontational with police. If they have to go, this is all on him. Giving your license, all right? So no big deal. Easily give your license. If you going to get a ticket, you get a ticket. If you ain't, you ain't. And you be on your way. You be moving on. These are not good decisions that this driver is making.
Clearly, he's not following the acronym of CALM. Comply and answer questions, listen and move on. I mean, and we'll talk about that in a second in relation to, had he followed the acronym of CALM, how do you guys think this would have played out? If he would have followed the acronym of CALM, comply, answer questions, listen and move on, how do you all think this incident would play out versus how it's going now for him? And we'll keep it moving, and drop your comments in the box down below to let us know.
When I was in the parking lot.
Okay.
So I have a First Amendment right.
It's a traffic stop.
For what? I was already in the parking lot.
An infraction based on the roadway, sir.
Say again, sir?
An infraction that happened on the roadway.
No, that's not what happened. I pulled into the parking lot, then he turned on his lights.
Yeah, that can work.
Drinking establishment. You guys saw me pull over here. So
just because you pull into a parking lot does not mean officers can't pull you over, folks.
Right.
So you know that. Okay. It ain't like, I made it into the parking lot. I'm clear. I'm free. No.
Or you made it into your driveway.
Right. That there's no safe base. It's not like baseball where you made it on base, so now you're safe. They can't do nothing.
Right.
No, if you get pulled over, you can get pulled over in your driveway. If something happens and an officer decides to pull you over, just because you pull into your own personal driveway does not mean that we can't continue with that stop. Like you made it to a safe space. That's not what that means, folks. So get that out of your head too.
Right. And you see, he's trying to use that as his defense as well. I'm here now, so you had no right to stop me. Well, it doesn't work that way. Which he's getting ready to find out here shortly.
In the parking lot because I missed my turn. Now all of a sudden it's all this whole thing. So you're trying to violate my First Amendment.
That's not what's
No,
happening.
I wish you stopped saying First Amendment because that doesn't apply.
So First Amendment, Fourth Amendment, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay.
So I do not have to.
So you don't think you're
So if you're going to do that, please know your constitutional rights, your amendments.
Yeah,
and
he like
when you're
whatever.
calling
First
out,
Amendment, Fourth Amendment, whatever amendment it is.
etc. Know which one you calling out before you go and just start, blurring out stuff, and you're making yourself look silly, if you will. He's keep spouting off his First Amendment right. Well, then shut your mouth. Then you have the right to remain silent. How about your Miranda rights? Keep your mouth shut. You don't have to say nothing. But he's definitely not being compliant. We got some comments here. Jesus Love says time to get him out of the vehicle. No more talking. Ms. Brenda said that he could have been warned and moved on. He could have, and very well
Could have been a warning.
He could have been. Someone said if he had followed the acronym C.A.L.M, at worst, he would have received a fix it ticket. Yep. Very well possible. Those things could have happened. And so now you see why it's important to follow the acronym of C.A.L.M, because things will work out so much better. And like we always say, and particularly Mike always says, no matter what type of officer you get, right, you follow the acronym C.A.L.M, you're going to be okay. You will be able to move on. And I take my hat off to these officers too, man. They're very, very professional up to this point. I have no problems with what we're doing. How about you, Mike?
Yeah, they're trying to explain to him what's legal and what's not. Not that they have to spend this much time with this guy. Look, I pulled you over. I need your license. You refusing to give it to me. Now I need you to get out of the car. You refusing to get out of the car. I could take action right now based on that stuff. I don't want to. I don't want to get into a physical confrontation with you over a brake light. Okay. Right. But remember, folks, it's not over a brake light now. We're not talking about a brake light anymore.
Brake light is over.
Talking about this guy refusing to comply, refusing to follow any commands given to him. You know what I'm saying? It's no longer about just the brake light. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, that's over with now. That's secondary now. Now we're dealing with something more serious.
Right.
Your third brake light's out.
Just call if you guys are going to be pushing like this.
No,
I would recommend that I ask for a supervisor.
This is a supervisor.
I'm right here, sir.
He's a lieutenant.
All right. So if what I'm saying isn't resonating with y'all, I'm going to ask for you guys to call the FBI.
No.
Okay.
Yes, straight up.
Listen,
their number is 297.
That part right there, Mike. That part right there. Hey, go ahead.
We ain't calling the FBI for you, okay? We ain't calling the FBI to come out on a simple traffic stop. The FBI don't even have any jurisdiction there at this point based under these type of circumstances specifically, okay? We ain't calling the FBI for a traffic stop. That ain't happening, so don't even ask that, folks. I need to see the FBI. No, the FBI ain't even that kind of agency, okay? The FBI don't even do traffic stops like that. They don't even do traffic enforcement. They don't even, you know what I'm saying? Right. Not under these circumstances in this particular way. So
they're not coming.
Yeah, don't ask for the FBI.
Now you see this
sound ridiculous.
This guy is being very ridiculous, and he's trying to play the role as if he's knows exactly what he's doing. Now I see where he's trying to go with this and why he said that. He feels as though at this moment that his constitutional rights are being violated because they're asking him to step out of the vehicle and place him under arrest, and he feels as though really his Fourth Amendment rights are probably being violated, which is the search and seizure and the right to feel secure in your own property. Well, at this point, that doesn't really apply either because you're right. You broke the law. Now you're failing to identify yourself. You're obstructing me. So now you need to come out of that vehicle. I'm not coming in the vehicle. I'm not searching your vehicle. I'm getting your person out of the vehicle. And so that's why I think, Mike, he's saying that they should call the FBI. But like you said, that just isn't going to happen. You can give me all the phone numbers you want. I've had guys say, "Hey, I'm friends with the mayor. You need to call the mayor's office." You can call them when you get down to lockup. But
right.
Nah, not,
tell them to come get you.
yeah. Dude told me he was personal friends with the mayor, and he wanted me to call him. I like, well, I don't think he's gonna be too pleased with you being drunk on the side of the road right now. So you sure you want me to make that phone call?
When you get to the jail and you get a chance to make your phone call, you can call the mayor yourself.
you call whoever you want. Okay. That just isn't going to happen on the side of the road now. Would I have let him make some type of phone call? Yeah, he could have called his mom or somebody to come get the car or whatever, but he going to jail at that, but that just isn't going to happen, y'all. But he owns something now.
It's not hard.
Listen, he stopped you for a traffic violation.
Sorry, sir.
Okay.
That's what you're saying, yes, sir.
That's what I'm saying.
I pulled in here, then he turned on his lights.
That's fine. That's a traffic violation.
No, I was
it's a traffic.
Here.
Listen,
Sir,
I'm trying to explain to you, sir.
I stopped, tried to reverse, and then he turned on his lights.
Okay.
Look at how my vehicle's positioned versus yours.
Okay, listen. You're not listening whatsoever. You just keep wanting to talk over everybody. Okay. He had a traffic stop conducted on you for a traffic violation that happened on the roadway. That's perfectly legal, perfectly fine. No, he's asking you to step from the vehicle.
I had pulled into the parking lot, then he turned on his lights.
Okay.
Period.
Okay. We've explained it now. No, we've explained it a few different times.
No.
Okay, we did this.
You guys are trying to violate my rights.
Okay, go ahead and step out.
No.
Okay. Well, you're under arrest, okay?
I'm not under arrest.
Get out of the car. Get out of the car.
I'm not getting out. You guys are violating. Hey, you can't just
get out of the car. Get out of the car. Step out of the car.
Step out.
Hey, step out of the car.
Step out. We're gonna force you out if you don't.
Step out of the car.
I'm not doing
it. You're under arrest.
Whoa, easy, fellas.
Hey, man, get on the ground now. Get on the ground now.
Yes, you are.
You're feeling bloated, constipated.
Now I'm stopping right there. Now he wants to be, compliant. Hey, take it easy, fellas. Take it easy.
Well, he clenching his fist up. He tensing up. He was still resisting, physically resisting. It got to this point. Now you could tell these officers did not want to go physical with this guy. They did not want it to get to that point. They continued to try to explain to him, listen, sir, you're wrong. This is what we're doing, and this is why we're doing it. But he wasn't accepting their explanation. In his mind, he just felt that they were wrong, he was right, and because he felt that they were wrong, he was going to refuse to do what they were asking him to do. That's the point right there, folks. Because he thought that they were wrong. He thought it was okay to just simply refuse and resist and obstruct them from doing what they were trying to do. If you get to that point, it's that moment that you got to realize this ain't going to go well right here on the street. But if I believe what I think I know, then it's going to work in court. So I'm going to wait until I get to court before I could do something like that. Okay. Fighting in court is where you're supposed to do that, not on the street. But instead, this guy had to get yanked out of the car. All this mess. He's sitting up here in booking right now for a simple brake light out. Okay. Now, as an officer, I'm going to be pissed off too. Like, man, you made me go all the way to this point. When all I was going to do, look, all I might have done is giving you a warning for your brake light out and sent you on your way. Okay. I would have run your name in the system, make sure you're not a wanted felon or something like that. Okay. But once that came back clear, okay, sir, here's your license back. you know, you got that brake light, you want to get that fixed, blah, 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 and have a good evening.
Yep. And Tone said that he's been pulled over for a brake light violation, but instead he thanked the officer because he didn't know, and he could have been rear-ended and seriously hurt due to no brake lights. Yeah, I mean it's a safety hazard, and state requirements require that you have all your lights on your vehicle are in operational order. So it definitely is a safety violation. So up to this point, yeah, I don't want to go hands on. I got God, you make, you know, because that's an extra hour of paperwork, an hour and a half of paperwork you got to do, reports you got to fill. You got to fill out a form for use of force, and you know, write that letter and explaining why you had to do it. Then you're going to be under investigation. Make sure you didn't violate any department policy. And I'm talking about for us now.
Yeah,
department policies and everything like
not
that.
only
So
that, I could get hurt. I could get physically hurt now.
Yeah, not only that, we could get hurt. All because you failed to want to identify yourself for a brake light. Now, again, this ain't because of brake light, like we said earlier. The brake light is done and over with. This is now all because you failed to properly identify yourself.
Yeah, you failed to comply, answer questions, listen, and move on. You failed 100%. To follow the CALM acronym. So now the situation has drastically changed based on something that you could have easily controlled and prevented.
Controlled and prevent. And it never had. And this is why, you know, it came up with the acronym, because it should never have to get to this point, man. This is what irked me so bad with being in law enforcement. It's like, man, God, dog, why do you have to be like this? Look, just give me your driver's license. All because you didn't. Okay, if you were suspended or you forgot your wallet, fine, tell me that. Just tell me that. Hey, Troop, I forgot my wallet at home. All right, hey, are you suspended? You're not suspended or anything. Okay, cool. What's your name, date of birth, and social? All right, I'm just gonna verify that you're legit. You have a valid license, and I'll let you go, or whatever the case may be. But then, you know, I come back with the tickets or the summonses, and they're like, "Hey, man, you know you suspended, right?" And like, yeah. Well, why didn't you just tell me when I said that? When I asked you, I don't know, man. I'm just scared. Scared of what? Getting a ticket? What are you scared for? You suspended. I mean, there's nothing to be afraid of because you suspended. The worst thing that happen to you is you get a ticket. And or your vehicle will get towed. But if it were me, as long as you were applying cooperative with me, I'd let you have somebody come get the vehicle and drive it off so I don't have to tow it, because that's another piece of paper I got to fill out.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it just behooves you to follow the acronym of CALM to not have to put yourself in these types of situations.
Call the FBI.
Yeah, call the FBI. My mom says that he just made it hard for himself and the officers by not complying. 100%, Mom. I mean, this is what used to frustrate me so much. Like, why do you have to do this? Look, it's just a ticket. Granted, times are hard. You may be hard up for money or whatever the case may be. And like Mike, you know that you hear all these sad stories, you know, why they can't get the ticket. You know, my insurance is gonna go up. I don't have the money. I got this to pay, that. I get it. But if you're upfront and honest with me in the very beginning, I do have a little wiggle room. I can let you go with a warning, right? Or I can let you, have somebody come get the vehicle. You know, there are things that we can do within the limits of the law if you're just upfront and honest when they ask you questions.
And something else real quick, brake lights, a lot of cars, especially these newer cars today, they have 3 brake lights now. They have the 2, one on the left and right tail light or brake light on the back of the car. And they have a 3rd brake light in, whether it's in the window or in the trunk or however the design of your car is. And in those situations, if you're equipped with the 3rd brake light, then yes, it has to work. Even if the 2 brake lights on on the back work on the left and right side
Tail
of the
lights, yeah.
vehicle. If you are equipped with a third brake, not all cars have a third brake light, but a lot of the newer cars do now. And if you do have a third brake light, it has to be working. So that is a violation.
Yeah, and not every officer is gonna stop you for that. For me, I'd be honest with you, I don't think I ever stop anybody for that third brake light out. As long as you had the other two working, I was fine. You know, out of the three, as long as you had two functioning, I was okay. Now, you know, when I did,
that doesn't mean you couldn't stop somebody for that.
That doesn't mean you couldn't.
Chose not to. That's all.
I just chose not to. That doesn't mean they were right. I just chose not to. Right? Is it still visible? Could I still see them break from a far distance? Then, if I could, then yeah. But is it still a violation? Could they still get stopped and pulled over? Absolutely. Tone asks, do they teach sovereign citizens in the academy? And he hears that officers run into this a lot. We got maybe a 4-hour course on it. It's not, didn't go into it too much detail. It depends on where you are, really. I mean, in some communities they're heavily populated, and others, if you're in the inner cities, you're not going to run into them mostly. Like out here in Virginia, where I live, particularly, you'll run into them a lot because they mostly stay out in the country side. You don't find very many of them in your inner cities. But we didn't spend too much time on it. But I think we had at least a 4-hour class on them.
Yeah, you got to forgive me, Tone. It's been about almost probably close to 30 years now since I've been through the academy. I don't specifically recall sovereign citizens being taught in my academy, but at some point through your career, whether it's on a job or whether it's in briefings or something like that, been multiple times that we've talked about sovereign citizens, because I think it depends on where you live too, because you might deal with them a whole lot more in some areas than you will in others. But yeah, we've definitely talked about it, about sovereign citizens in briefings or whatever before, just to give us a understanding of what we might come up on if we stop somebody and what we can expect from them. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, they do exist. They're more prevalent in some areas than others. In my career, it's been probably a handful of times where I've stopped somebody who claimed something like that. Fortunately, I was able to get what I needed within the law from them. So I can't really remember a time where I ended up having to actually arrest a sovereign citizen, because at some point they did give me what I needed. I may have given a sovereign citizen a ticket for being an unlicensed driver, but that's a situation where they did identify themselves. I was able to verify their identity in some form or fashion. They just didn't have an actual physical license in their possession. You know what I'm saying? So it happens. They're out there for sure.
Yeah, I just think it just varies on the locality of where they are. Like, before I tell my story, Jesus Love says he wonders why there is a brake light in the back of the window. I think they came up with that years ago when they started making I forget when the year that was, they started putting that third brake light up on there. But it's just to give you more visibility at nighttime. Just an extra added safety feature for the vehicles.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Because maybe that's a good question too, Jesus Love You. I think by having it a third one in the back window, it actually makes it a little bit higher now, so that maybe people in higher vehicles can see your brake light easier too. Sometimes if you have a low vehicle and you got two brake lights on the end, I don't know, maybe if somebody in a high vehicle or something. Maybe that's a reason. I don't know factually why they decided to do that, but I would imagine it's got something to do with being more visible and being more accessible as far as somebody behind you being able to see, like higher vehicles and stuff like that. That's what I guess. But if you got it, again, if you got it, it is a brake light, which means it's required to be operational. So,
and you can get stopped for it.
Yeah.
You get stopped for it. Hey, drop us a comment down below if you like the content of this video. Don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Your first time watching us on this. And tonight we're talking about this incredible confrontation of this driver who was pulled over and trying to assert his constitutional rights in there, as well as trying to call for the officers to call the FBI to come in and assist in this. But that just isn't going to happen. But we're going to shoot to the end of the video now, where he's actually in lockup and just kind of gauge on what he's saying now.
Yeah.
Oh, I got it on mute.
You're the one falsifying.
So
your body cam is
DUI,
lying. That's that bullshit.
resisting,
Call the FBI. Hey,
driving without a valid
video.
license,
Great.
equipment violation,
and more bullshit.
expired tag,
More bullshit.
no proof of insurance.
Bullshit.
So he had several things going on.
You didn't give me a chance to. So
You never asked.
that should be it.
Time.
Right, Mr. Riles, I've got something to give to you, okay? And just so you know, for your peace of mind, I just watched my body camera footage, okay? And you can see that your third brake light is not functioning, and then you flip on your cargo light to make it look like your white light shining back as your third brake light. I just wanted you to know that for your peace of mind, because you want to know my body camera was functioning. It was on. It did catch that.
Can you show me that video?
You can request a copy of it and get it from through records.
At the jail, the suspect refused to provide a breath sample to the officers.
That's fine. I'm not going to show it to you, but I am going to give you this. I just want to give you that peace of mind that it is on there.
No, that's
So, okay. So effective 30 days from date served, notice of revocation is given that your driver's license is revoked or denied for a period of 180 days or more.
The suspect was charged with driving under the influence, resisting arrest, driving with a suspended license, operating a vehicle with defective equipment, failure to carry security verification, possession of marijuana, possession of drug equipment. During court, the suspect's initial charges were amended to DUI, resisting an officer, driving with a suspended license, possession of marijuana, and possession of drug equipment. The suspect pleaded not guilty to all charges. However, he failed to appear in court for his disposition. At this time, the court has issued a bench warrant for failing to appear in court.
So he had a lot going. That's what that officer was reading to him at the end. That license revocation, because it was DUI. He ended up being driving under the influence of either alcohol or controlled substance. And they issue that as it let you know that you are on notice, basically, that your license is of this current status. You know, it's only temporary, because once you're convicted of the DUI, then it can become more permanent, or whatever they decide to do with it. But
yeah, whenever you get arrested for a DUI, it's automatically suspended for 7 days here, and then you got to petition the courts to get it back, your driver's license back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this actually explains a lot now why he didn't want to get out of the vehicle, and you see he was really kind of slick though by turning that
cargo light
rear cargo lights on to make it seem like he had third brake light. So, you know, he knew he was trying to buck the system from the get-go, because he already knew that he was in the wrong. And so he had a whole slew of problems going on: registration, suspended, defective equipment, DUI, drug paraphernalia. And he's goes on and on and on. So now you see why. So something simple, right, or routine as a brake light out results in all this. Now, do you all understand why I get hot in the britches when I always say, you know, there's no such thing as a routine traffic stop? What was routine about this stop, right? Routine would have been, yeah, he gave his driver's license, he gave everything, gave him his ticket or warning or fix equipment citation and moved on. But as you see, it doesn't always work out this way. And yeah, he goes, yeah, and now he doesn't even show up. You already could tell this guy wasn't going to show up for court.
Right, he didn't show up.
You know what I mean? Now he's got a bench warrant out for his arrest now. So guess what's going to happen again when he encounters law enforcement? He's still not going to identify his.
He's probably not even going to acknowledge that he legally has a warrant. That'll probably be an issue. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I can tell you exactly how he's going to play. You stop him, he's going to play stupid that he even has one. Now, everybody knows you don't show up for your court date, the judge will issue what we call a bench warrant, meaning the judge signs it right there in front of the bench, or we call it a capias, and go ahead and put it into the system. And you may not be aware of it at that point, but everybody knows you missed that court date. You're going to get a bench warrant or a capias for your arrest, or what they call also, you might also hear called as a show cause for your arrest as well. So
make sure you show up for court, folks. That's what signing the bottom of a ticket is all about. Okay, it's your promise to appear in court.
Appear in court.
You're required to. Okay,
right. And remember, it's not a conviction. If you sign that summons, it's not an admission of guilt. It's just a promissory note that you're going to appear in court on that date to tell your side of the story, to dispute it. That's all it means.
That's all it means. That's all it means.
So please share that with your loved ones. It is not an admission of guilt.
Yeah, don't get hung up on signing the ticket, because you'll go to jail if you don't sign the ticket.
Yeah.
So don't get caught up in that mess. Sign a ticket. It don't mean that you agreeing or admitting to anything. It just means, like you saying, you promising to appear in court. Okay, that's it.
Tone says, if sovereign citizens don't follow state and federal laws, how can they so-called quote the Constitution that they don't follow?
Good point. Good point.
They're following under the old or the original Constitution. That's a whole different type of rabbit hole, Tone. I know a lot, but I don't know a lot about it. But that's a whole nother realm. Laws that they follow under it prior to what they say the United States becoming a corporation. So they fall under the original 1776 Constitution and not the one, I think it's like 1933 or 1932, where the United States became a corporation versus the original Constitution. So they actually go under that. I mean, if you listen to some of it, like, sounds like it could be legit, but then you got to really get into the weeds of it, and that's probably another whole separate show.
Yeah,
for that one.
And we ain't saying this guy in this particular video was a sovereign citizen. We just brought that up because there were some similarities to the way he was behaving that are consistent with somebody who is a sovereign citizen. This guy seemed like he might have just had a wild hair up his behind and just decided not to go with the program. Coupled with the fact that he was DUI, he was probably under the influence of whatever they found. They had marijuana in his car or something, it sounds like, but maybe he was high and just had a wild hair up his behind and didn't want to comply, didn't want to go with the program. You know what I'm saying? Don't do that, folks. Don't do that. Hey, Jason, I see you on here.
That's a good point, Jason. I mean, there's no reason. I mean, we don't do Zoom here, but I'm sure they were doing Zoom while they were under COVID restrictions. In fact, I think they were still doing. They're only letting so many people in the courtroom at a time, or whatever it was. But there's no excuse. Guys like this, you know their patterns of behavior, and they're not going to show up. I mean, he knows this system. He knows what he's doing, and he's not going to abide by the laws. Man, just plain and simple. He, like Mike just said, he may or may not be a so-called sovereign. Now you do run into a lot of people, Mike, that aren't sovereign citizens, but they try to portray that and try, because somebody that knows somebody that's a sovereign citizen. They say, hey, yeah, you don't have to do that to the police. You don't have to do this. You don't have to do that. They can't do that. And they take it as gospel. And here they find themselves in a situation and they just end up digging a bigger hole for themselves than, helping themselves. So, he might have been that type of individual.
And the biggest thing that I want you guys to take away from this is, some of these things people think of them as small, like not giving your license as a small thing. But you see, those small things are a lot bigger than what you realize. You don't realize that, well, you're actually breaking the law by not giving me your license. You're actually breaking the law by not exiting your vehicle upon my command as an officer. Case law, Pennsylvania versus Mims, MIMMS. Check that out. That governs how an officer could basically control the occupants of the vehicle. Excuse me. So, people may not realize those small things add up. They're a lot bigger than what they think, which could change the situation, could change your contact with police. So make sure you follow commands, comply, answer questions, listen, and move on. You know what I'm saying? Answer questions in the sense that you don't have to be so confrontational and say, "Oh, I don't have to talk to you. I don't have to give you nothing." You're already starting a confrontational environment when it's not even necessary. You know what I'm saying?
Now you can still keep your mouth shut and still give them your ID.
Sure.
Because I think when I was talking to somebody about the acronym CALM before, they were saying, they like the idea, but were thinking that maybe it to them it sounded like you really are being submissive to them by staying calm or complying. When you're doing compliance, to me, is you're doing the right thing. You're doing what is right. I mean, if you did nothing wrong, then what's the problem? Yeah, granted, you don't have to say anything. You don't have to answer any questions. If they ask, if you didn't do anything wrong, and they, hey, you got any new weapons in the car? No, I don't. And if they ask you, mind if we search? Like, no, you don't. No, you don't have the right to search. I just told you I don't have any weapons, and you can be honestly telling the truth. And at that point, still give them your ID. And at that point, you told them no, you don't have anything. You don't have any probable cause to search my vehicle. So no, you're not searching it. But I will give you my driver's license and registration.
Yeah. I mean, people don't like the words. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole problem right there. People don't like to be told what to do. But you know what? For lack of better words, it's a form of submission. I submit to your authority as a police officer in the commands that you are giving me. Okay. Here's you want to see my license? Well, I know I'm required to give you my license. So here's my license. Okay. Here is all the information that you request from my vehicle right here, because I am a driver of this vehicle. So in some sense, you are submitting to their authority. You're supposed to submit to their authority. If officers didn't have authority, what are we doing here? What's the purpose of a police officer? If you don't want your police officers to have any authority? That's ridiculous.
Now I do have a question for our viewers, and I know some of our viewers on here are into the Word of God, and now I want viewers to answer this question for me. Does God command us to be submissive to those in authority over us? Can somebody please answer that question in the comments?
Where's Jesus? We know what Jesus loves you has to say about that. Whether he's still on, I don't know.
But I hope he's still. But my mom is still on, and Miss Brenda's still on.
There we go.
On. So they should be able to answer. Jason says, agree. My strategy hasn't taught us to lick those boots and cough up that ID, especially if I had drugs in the car. But now that I have seen the way cops behave, I question that strategy. Yeah, man.
No, look, all we saying is there is a level of submission. There is some element of suspicion because you have to submit to the commands that they are giving you. You see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Now, again, if they give you a wrong command, if you feel it's unlawful, that is handled in court. You go to court, you sue them, you do whatever you need to do. You could sue them and in criminal court. If you end up in criminal court like that, and it's something that they did that was unlawful, or some command they gave you that was unlawful, that'll come to court. And anything as a result of that unlawful command is thrown out. Okay, it's not used.
Right.
So officers don't want to give you unlawful orders. We're not trying to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want my case to be thrown out. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna stay within those parameters that I need to stay in. Now that's us as officers, me and Corey. That's how we roll. Okay, but again, you don't know what kind of officer you're gonna come across. Our whole point in this show is to stop you, make sure you don't get hurt. Okay, we don't want you to get any physical confrontation with police in any form or fashion. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's definitely the time that you need to submit to their authority. If they say they're going to arrest you, you turn around, put your hands behind your back, say, "Here you go. Here's my how you want me to hold my hands." You know what I'm saying? Then you fight your battles in court, not on the street.
Not on the street. So I'm Ms. Brenda says absolutely to the question if we're supposed to be if being submissive to authority is biblical, and she says absolutely. My mother agrees, and Ms. Brenda also says obey those who have authority over you. And Jesus love you gives the scripture Hebrews 13, chapter 13, verse 17. I'm at to look that up, but I thought it was in there. And correct me if I'm wrong, isn't it in the book of Romans too? It also talks about authority and being respectful of authority of those the guy put in place to be in a position of authority. But so my point being is that with the acronym C.A.L.M, when one day I have to lay it out and maybe get Seiko on here and lay it out in the biblical context of being compliant and understanding why it's important to follow the acronym of C.A.L.M, because at the end of the day, nobody, like you said, Mike, nobody needs to get hurt or killed over a traffic infraction or equipment violation. It's not necessary. So that's the biblical context behind a C.A.L.M. Comply, answer questions, listen, and move on. It's all related to doing what is right. My grandmother always used to say, every time we would get ready to leave her and we give her kids goodbye, she was like, "All right, Corey, y'all do what's right. Learn to obey." She always said, like, be obedient, listen to your mom and dad, and do what's right. And so, we need to have that attitude when we're interacting with law enforcement. So we don't end up like this guy here. You don't say stupid things like, you're violating my First Amendment. Well, no, we're not. And saying, "Hey, we're going to call the FBI."
Or in your mind, you say you violate my First or whatever amendment you think they violate. You keep that in your mind and you say, when I get to court, I'm going to argue that. Okay, but not on the street. All right.
Thank you, Jason. Romans 13, verses 1-7. Everyone must submit himself to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except that which God has. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. So there you have it. We are supposed to be submissive to those who are in authority over. So comply. Yep. You should be submissive to the authority.
That's a whole nother show, Bobby. We can do a deep dive into that. You know what I'm saying? But that's really what it boils down to. People, I think in general, they don't like to be told what to do, especially if they feel that they are within the law. You know what I'm saying?
100%. 100% agree.
Unfortunately, a lot of people get hurt because of those thoughts, because they don't handle it the right way. They they act upon their emotions at that moment on the street with that officer. You know what I'm saying? One way to cause an officer to go hands on is for you not to do what they are commanding you to do. Okay, almost a sure way to get an officer to do something. You don't want to be in that situation. As an officer, we don't want to be in that situation. I don't want to be in that situation. Never have. Don't want to have to put my hands on someone. You know what I'm saying? Because I could get hurt. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's how I think very selfishly. I don't want to have to get into a physical altercation with you because I could get hurt. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to get hurt over something small. So just do what I tell you to do.
Right. And like Jesus Love You said, as long as they're not asking us to violate, scripture, and of course, right. You're not going to ask them to do anything that, hey, any sexual thing or anything derogatory.
That's a whole different ballgame.
That's a whole different ballgame. And no officer should be doing that anyways, because now they're really in violation, and you still.
If I tell you to choke yourself,
yeah.
You to choke yourself,
right? Yeah, don't let it get to that point. But yeah, as long as they're not asking you to do anything that violates your morals and violates scripture, yeah, you just go ahead with it, because at the end of the day, you're gonna get a big fat paycheck for them violating your constitution. Rights. And that's what it is. Fight in court, not on the side of the road. So, all right, everybody, we're going to go ahead and wrap this one up for tonight. We truly thank you all for joining us tonight. Don't forget to go ahead and hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And if you hadn't got a chance to check out our merchandise shop, go ahead on over to the, let me pull it up here, Brothas-in-law. I thought I had it here real quick. Brothas-in-law merch shop. .myspreadshop.com. Get you a nice little YouTube shirt with the. I don't know if you could be able to see it, but I got the. Oh, you can't see it. The CALM acronym on the back. Mike's got it on the front of his hoodie, right there. Support us, support the channel, and get the word out of staying calm. Final words, Mike.
Now, thanks for joining us. Jesus loves you. Jason Bender, I don't think I've seen you on here before. If I have, I missed you. I apologize, but I appreciate you joining us.
Yes,
new
sir.
name that I've seen up on here, Brenda, Stacy, Tone, always a good, faithful, Mrs. Taylor. Appreciate all you guys joining us.
Ms. Brenda, thank you.
Yeah, we love the questions, love the interaction. And all of that. If you guys got any videos you want us to talk about, or you want to talk about, I know there's a few of them that just came out that it's not a lot of information on them yet. We just waiting a little bit until we get more information on them.
Yeah.
But there's some coming out that, but if you guys got something, just let us know. You know what I'm saying? Thanks for joining us. Have a good weekend.
And last but not least, if you know somebody, or if you yourself would like to join us on a live to talk to Mike and I, to ask us questions, whatever you have on your mind, you like to join us, go ahead and email us or DM us over on our Facebook page, and we'll get you on the show and have a conversation with us, and maybe have you join us in breaking down a video with us live.
Sure.
And get your perspective on it. So
as long as it ain't about rocket science, we all right.
Yeah. Yeah, you yourself, or you want to know somebody that would be would love to come on the show with us, let us know, and we'll make it happen. So have a great rest of your week, have a great weekend, and we will see you all next Thursday at 8:10. God bless you, we love you, and good night.